Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, it's the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only, aka Pookie, Mr. LBN Kane with the game, and today we're here to talk about this situation. Now, when I was younger, before I turned 18, I could say that I was a bad boy. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Yeah, I was a bad boy. I was a hard head. I was difficult. I wasn't simple minded. I was aggravated. I was I was a problem. Not too much of a problem, but I was a problem. A minor problem, to say at least, when I was younger. I was following the wrong crowd. I was cutting school. I was cutting class. This was all in my high school years. Sophomore year to be exact. Cutting class, cutting school, following the wrong crowd, suffering those consequences, suffering those repercussions. Yeah, I was a minor problem back in those days. And yes, I did make mistakes. I'm a human being. I make mistakes. I admit it. I ain't gonna lie. But when I look back at those mistakes, those were some best times. Those were some best times. And one of those times was when I was first smoking weed. Yeah, I was smoking that weed. I heard about the weed. I heard about the marijuana. I heard about the K2. I heard about 420. I thought I was living it, flexing up, doing the things that I really love to do. Yeah, that was my style. That was my bop. So let's get back with this real shit though. So it all started when I was taking a vacation. This was probably around spring break. This was before a couple of days or the day before 420 was when I came back. But it all started when I was taking a vacation. Spring break, to be exact. You see, I used to live in Brooklyn, New York, but I took my spring break in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I'm currently living now. But back in those days was when I was taking a vacation in Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah, I was chilling in my granddad's house, chilling, flexing, living a life, living a new life, going to different places. And spring break was about to be over, so I had to head back to Brooklyn, New York to go back and live. So when I was in Brooklyn, I went back to school, and the day was 420 to be exact. Yeah, it was 420. And I had a couple of bills in my pocket. It wasn't a lot, but I had a couple of bills. I was 15, so I didn't really have a whole lot, but I had something. So it's better than nothing. But let's get back with this real shit. So I had a couple of bills in my pocket and it was 420. And in my head, I was like, you know what? I want to spend a couple of bills on edibles. I'm going to spend a couple of bills on weed. And that was exactly what I did. So early in the morning, I met up with this girl and I paid, I think it was over $20 on edibles. Yeah. I paid over 20 something dollars on edibles. I didn't even take the edibles until later in the day. But in fact, I put it in my pocket and I waited till later. That's exactly what happened. So that was early in the morning. I was barely going to class. I was just wandering around in the hallways. I was sitting down in one of the hallway stairs until I heard a walkie-talkie, and that was my cue to leave. You know how that go. Went from one location to another location. That was basically my day. That was basically my style. So it all led up to me eventually meeting with one of my friends. Now, he asked me for $20 to smoke a little weed with him and his friend. But then I had another group of friends that, you know, that said it was like $5 because, they were breaking bread just to smoke weed. I chose those group of friends instead of the other group of friends that were in two. So I was chilling with them. We went from one school to the next. And that's when everybody decided to smoke a little weed. So they were puff passing, and then when it was finally my turn, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was really doing for real. I kept wetting up the weed. I didn't know what I was doing. It was my first time. So finally I got it right. I took 2 pulls. And that's when the weed decided to smack the shit out of my lungs, punch my lungs. Beep boop beep beep boop 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 boop, punching the shit out of my lungs. I was like, damn, I'm feeling the shit. So now I went from one person that was sober to another person that was high out of my freaking mind. I was going crazy. I didn't remember what I was doing. You would have thought I'm retarded now. When I take that weed, I'm 10 times more retarded. It's crazy. Now, I'm walking around in the, I forgot what you call it. Oh, the football field, my fault. I was walking around in the because they had a football field. That's where we was all smoking weed. That was the school's football field. Not the school I went to, but another one. Remember I told you I one location to the next, right? So I'm walking around the football field. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I was saying. I couldn't comprehend. I'm even more hard-headed. Everybody's walking around doing their thing. I'm in my own lane, not really thinking nothing of nothing. I'm a little paranoid because the last thing that I want to see is a NYPD cop car. So I don't got no time for that. I'm trying to lay low and be normal, And the day goes smoothly. It was like that probably the whole day. Yeah, it was like that the whole day. So we decided to leave. This is what I remember a little vividly. So we're about to leave, and I see 2 of my friends. They start running out of nowhere. They start running. I'm looking at them. I'm like, what is their major malfunction? What they got going on? I'm turning my back. It's nobody there. I'm like, these niggas is crazy. What the fuck? Then I see a girl pull up. She talking about, oh, you got me pregnant. You think this is over for you? She start hitting the nigga. I'm like, oh my sweet baby Jesus. Starting hitting the nigga. I'm standing there. I'm barely reacting. I don't know what's going on. I'm thinking I'm in an alternate universe. The shit is crazy. So I finally get on the bus. I'm chilling. I'm not really thinking of nothing. I don't know how I remember I got from this school to the other school. I didn't know where I was going, but I remember that I finally see my school and I got out of my exit. I left the back of the bus and I started meeting up with my other friends. This was when school was already over. So I'm meeting up with the guys and shit. And I'm talking to them. And I just remembered that I had edibles just sitting in my pocket. So I take out my edibles and I pass it to 2 of the homies. And they eating up the edibles. I barely eat anything. I'm still high off the weed. I don't know what's going on. The shit is crazy. I'm seeing like 5 cop cars from one side to the next. Oh my God, it was crazy. It was crazy. They all looking for this one guy. He got a warrant. Was in the same school that I was at. They all looking for him. I'm like, oh my God. And then next thing you know, from the corner of my eye, I see 2 girls fighting. Boom. Apparently, they fucking the same guy, so they start fighting. They start hitting. Cops take them away. I'm just standing there not even reacting. I'm like, damn, this is it. So I'm standing there watching the fight. The fight gets breaking up by the cops. And I don't really think nothing of nothing until I finally make the decision to just go home. So my friend elbows me at the same time and he tells me, yo, the edibles are kicking in. I said, really? He said, yeah. I said, damn, that's tough. Oh, well, you think you're going to be able to go home? He said, yeah. I said, all right, do your thing. So I dap him up. I tell him, yo, I'm going home. This was right around the time I was taking the train to go home because I didn't feel like taking the bus. So I said, I'm going to take the train to go home. And then by the time I leave that location, I'm just going to walk, And I was walking very fine, you know? Like nothing was really wrong with me. Like I'm 100% sober. So by the time I finally go to my apartment in Brooklyn, New York, I start laying on the couch. RP my grandmother. This is when my grandmother was living with us at the time. And I had to really make sure that she did not notice that I was off the weed. So I didn't even take off my clothes. I just dropped my bag. I didn't take my clothes off. I took my shoes off and I just chilled at the couch, watching TV, not really thinking of nothing. And my grandmother proceeds to say, how was school? So I said, huh? I said, huh? She said, how was school? I said, it was good. She said, what you did? I said, nothing much, learning math, learning English, learning something. So then she asked me, well, what did you learn in school? And it was like this long, awkward silence. And then finally she proceeds to say, oh, okay. I didn't give her an answer. She just nodded her head and she just walked away. And then right after that, I just went right back to sleep, not really thinking of nothing, trying to let the weed wear off, And then I woke back right up and nothing really happened. I'm still a little paranoid that my grandmother asked me and I didn't give her the answer that she wanted. And it was a pretty interesting day to say the least. But that situation, that encounter was very weird. But I'm just glad she ain't ratted me out to my aunt. My aunt also was living with us at the time. And I'm just glad she ain't rat us out. I feel like she knows, but she didn't exactly know. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. Shout out to my grandmother, RP to her. She was truly one of a kind. But yeah, that was my day at 420. I didn't know what I was doing. It was my first time smoking weed. And it was truly, to say the least, an experience. So with that, this is your man, Albion Kane, signing off. And J-Lex, stop stealing them chocolate bars at the decant line. Goodbye.